We weren't live before. We're live now. Ah.
This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Internet world, West Alabama. How we doing today? Hope you and yours are doing well on Thursday. It's the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. We're live. We are live this time. We went about 2.5 minutes. We didn't get that far off the ground before we realized we weren't off the ground. We are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios this morning off McFarland Boulevard. We hope you and yours are happy to join us on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, on all your social media machines, on your podcast platforms, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. It's the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We appreciate everybody who subscribed, rated, reviewed the show. You guys can find them right there and send them to your friends. We've got a lot of new listeners over the last couple of months. We appreciate everybody who has jumped on and joined us. We're proudly sponsored by Derek Daniel State Farm Insurance. You can call Derek for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there for all your home, life, auto insurance needs. He's got Bobby, Lane, and Red upstairs waiting to take your phone call. It won't take you very long. They'll give you the information that you need. No pressure to buy, but once you get the information, you'll realize, I should be switching to Derek Daniel State Farm. They can save you some money, give you local coverage. Call them today at 205-758-3391. We're here with our friend Mason Woods. Follow him at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. We're going to be talking to Joey Van Zummeren of Missouri Tigers on SI here in about 20-25 minutes. So if you want to just go ahead, zoom on forward, we don't blame you for that because Joey Van Zummeren is bringing us great insight on the Tigers. What are we going to do today, Mason? First, we're going to go live. That was a silly mistake, but I'm glad we caught it relatively early.
Yeah, I mean, we're already further into the show than we were the first time.
Exactly. I want to squeeze in a basketball conversation somewhere, and it's been just kind of a busy week with post-Vanderbilt, pre-Missouri. We did spend 15 minutes in the basketball facility on Monday watching the guys practice. They split offense on one side, defense on the other, so it's kind of interesting to see them operate the basketball practice for about 15-20 minutes or so. Appreciate Nate Oates and Steven Gonzalez for letting us be in the building on Monday. I want to talk about Eli Drinkwitz's time on the SEC coaches teleconference call. Were you on the call? It's okay.
I was not on it, but I have seen what he has said.
Yeah, right.
Some of it.
He was a jokester yesterday. I love Eli Drinkwitz.
I do too. I really enjoy him. A lot of people don't like him for whatever reason. I seem to see online people think he's cheesy and corny, whatever. I think he is a very genuine person who is in the perfect spot for him.
Yeah, I think he is cheesy and corny, but I love it.
Who he is.
You're right. I think he's authentic with it.
Yes.
I think he's very authentic. And so I love that. You can go back to the SEC media days. I'm ready to answer questions, except for I can't answer any questions on the Epstein files, who shot JFK, and he said some other crazy conspiracy theories. He's like, just the Missouri Tigers, please.
Yeah, I like Drink, and he's a heck of a football coach. I mean, good Lord, people. I don't really. I think some people give him his flowers for what he's done at Missouri, but for the most part, I don't really know that he gets quite enough respect.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the expectations are very low at Missouri, pretty consistently, and I think he is exceeding them pretty frequently. Obviously, I think they only won 5-5 in the first year in the COVID year. Eli Drink. Let's see what it actually is. You were 5-5, 6-7, 2 years of 6-7, and then boom, bust out 11-2, 10-3, 5-0 right now. So it takes me a little bit of time to build my foundation at a lesser program.
I think he also had to get a little bit of buy-in from everybody else around him, maybe.
Sure. So Auburn. When you are thinking about firing Hugh Freeze, don't do it. It's going to take him a little time to build his foundation at a lesser program, right? Hugh Freeze in the last couple of years at Auburn, you are 6-7, 5-7. You're 3-2 right now. Just stick with him.
He
started
0-4 in the SEC every year, I think, is what the stat I saw this week.
Oh, gross. He's 0-2 right now.
Yeah, I think each season he started 0-4 in the SEC. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's what I saw on Twitter either yesterday or the day before.
Let me tell you how much my parents, lifelong Georgia fans, are respecting the Auburn Tigers this week. They are not going down to Auburn for the rivalry. They are not sitting on their couch to watch the rivalry. They're going camping. They're going in the woods. They might hear the game on the radio.
I can't blame them for having that attitude.
They're going to enjoy their marriage, enjoy themselves. It's fall break for their school, and so they are going to sit around a fire and enjoy Mother Nature.
I don't foresee. I don't think Georgia is particularly thinking about Auburn that much this week.
Love you, Mom and Dad.
I don't know who they've got
fun.
on the schedule next, but I imagine they're maybe more focused on that team than they are the Auburn Tigers.
Oh man, Deep South Solos rivalry, and my diehard Georgia fans man, we got that.
I mean, yeah, I don't. That is the oldest rivalry, whatever. And sure, some years I have seen it's gotten pretty heated, but it has never had the same vitriol to me that even Georgia Tech has, Alabama Auburn has.
True.
Both of those teams feel like they have bigger rivalries than each other.
They're coming back. Oh, yeah. That's why Mom and Dad are going camping this weekend, because next weekend they're against top 5 Ole Miss.
That's who they're thinking about.
Right.
That's who they're focused on in Athens.
Trinidad, throw me another dime.
Supposedly Austin Simmons might be coming back.
This is Lane Kiffin playing mind games. This is Trinidad. This is Trinidad Chambliss' team.
This was his plan all along.
Trinidad, throw me another dime. I enjoyed that song that you sent me 2 weeks ago.
That was funny.
Yeah. So they're taking the week off. They're enjoying themselves, and they'll get back on the rooting for the Dogs next Saturday when they play Ole Miss. Okay, so we're going to talk about with Joey about Missouri, and so why don't we just take a couple minutes to talk about basketball, what we saw in the facility on Monday, and we'll get right back to this Missouri game, because I feel ready for this Missouri game from an analytical from a watching standpoint. I watched their South Carolina pretty back and forth, back up the tape, run it again, back up the tape, run it again. I just watched Kansas again. I watched Kansas live because I was really into that game a couple weeks ago, and then I watched it again last night. I feel pretty ready to be definitive about the Missouri Tigers right now. But basketball is several days away. Is not far away. Next Thursday, Bama in Boutwell against Florida State. If you are looking for tickets, look. It was a tiny gym, but it was a very cool arena, very cool venue. If you are in Birmingham or around the area and you've got the basketball itch, I would encourage you to go see Bama in Boutwell next Thursday. You've got SEC Media Days next Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm going to be out of town. We'll still do shows, but I won't be going to SEC Media Days because me and the girlfriend are going to Timbuktu. So we're on the parts unknown. And so we'll be doing the show remotely, and we'll be sending the crew to SEC Media Days in Birmingham. So it's right here upon us. And that means, Mason, really in the next 2 weeks, I've got to finish and actually do the math teacher song. It has to be done.
To happen.
Right. It's been teased too much.
It's going to be a big year.
Right. I think it is.
I mean, just how many double-doubles will Aiden Sherrill have this season? All of them.
Right. I was
going
to say he's going to average a double-double.
He'll have all the double-doubles.
He looks okay.
Standing at that picture, I don't even remember who it was that posted on Twitter. Nick standing at the podium there in the facility, just dwarfing it. They got to get a basketball podium that they wheel in there that's about a foot taller.
Exactly. He's standing there
it's comes up to his waist.
He's got his hand down by his waist, and he's leaning over.
Yeah.
And he was good. He was fine. You can see his press conference on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. You can see Nate Oates' press conference on Monday on the BamaCentral YouTube channel as well. Talking about leadership on Monday, talking about Collins Onyeka, which I think that is how you say his name. That's kind of we got from Coach Oates. Collins a lot. And Aiden, look, the 10 minutes, the 15 minutes that we saw, they split offense and defense, and you can read the practice report from Hunter DeCiver on BamaCentral. I encourage you to do that because Hunter was taking scrupulous notes when we got in there. I was just sitting there, arms crossed, going, So I was impressed with the athleticism of the big men.
That's what I like to hear. That's
God,
exactly what you've been missing.
Aiden Sherrill was moving like an alien, like very fluid. There wasn't a whole lot of hitch in his step. There wasn't a whole lot of, oh, I gotta like get into gear. Oh, now I'm running.
I mean, just looks wise, he looks, like he's kind of taking that next step physically. Last year you could just tell he hadn't quite filled out his frame yet. He didn't quite look comfortable in that 6'11" body.
Mm-hmm.
But just looking at him now, the pictures and things I have seen of him from heading into this season, it's kind of the way we talked about with Wilkin Formby heading into this year. You see the physical transformation. It looks like, okay, this guy's ready to play Division I basketball now.
We didn't see Noah Williamson, and Coach Oates said that he was just under the weather. No real injury concern there. We didn't see Latrell Wrightsell, which he's still recovering, and I imagine that during the media portion they said, "Hey man, just go off and take an ice bath or something. You're good." But Preston Murphy Jr. was out there playing, who I think we thought he was going to be an afterthought, and maybe he will be an afterthought, but he was at least a part of the first team. Like, it was very clearly red squad and white squad, and red squad was like, oh, that's the first team. And he was a part of that with LeBaron. So maybe he's not going to be as much of an afterthought. But what I was just impressed with was the combination of the fluidity, athleticism of Collins Onyejiaka, Aiden Sherrill, Keaton Bristow, and Taylor Bolbowen. The four of them looked like, oh, that's a real crew of big guys. And they said Collins Onyejiaka is supposed to be a senior in high school this year.
Yeah.
That's a man.
That's crazy.
That is a man.
I mean, it's preposterous.
That is like an adult. He was what? He's listed 6'10".
265, 6'11", 265 is what they have him listed.
Yes, and his arms were just massive, not flabby arms, not. Oh, I'm overweight.
This is not a Zion in high school 265.
He is cut, ripped. He looks ripped. I'm now granted we're a bird's eye view. I wasn't right next to him, but the bird's eye view was pretty close. I mean, we're hanging over a balcony, and they're playing basically right underneath us. You can see some of that footage on BamaCentral.com, BamaCentral's YouTube channel. You can see basically what I shot. And the other thing about Collins that impressed me for his age, not only his body composition, but they did offense and defense on each end of the floor. Brian Adams yelling at the defense, and really and really it was Nate and oh gosh, the name's gonna escape me. And it's at the bottom.
Preston, Chris Fleming,
Fleming, and Adam Bowman.
Chris Fleming's the new guy, came from the NBA,
right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, yes. It was Preston, Chris Fleming, and Nate and Nate was floating, but when they mixed together, they got about 5 minutes in the end where they were mixed together, offense and defense, kind of both squads going against each other, and they were flipping roles. The loudest person in the gym communicating on defense, Collins Onyejiaka.
Love that.
Screen. Get up, get over. Pick to your left. He was just chatterbox, and I'm like, yes, give it to me, man. Like call it out. And just for to have that be something a 17-year-old is already doing, that tells me that, oh, it's in you, man. It's innate. It's in you.
I'm encouraged by what I've heard about this basketball team, what I read in Hunter's report about this basketball team, and I'm scrolling through the roster here, just looking at it, and where's the weak link?
The weak link is depth of the guard. Maybe. I mean, you bring in Davion Hannah this year. You still have Aiden Holloway. I guess we will be missing Jalil Bethea. I had forgotten about that in this moment. But I mean, he's not going to be out the whole season. Right, and I think Amari Allen looks like he's going to be a type to play big boy guard.
I feel top to bottom, at least on paper, and we said all this with the football team. We say this a lot. Man, it looks dang good. How much are we giving to Nate's comment? This could be the best shooting team I've had since I've been here.
Didn't he say that last year?
I feel like he has certainly said that before.
I think he said it last year or the year before, and it's
I don't think this is the first time we've heard that from him. I'll believe it when I see it.
That's starting to feel like the Nate line to, I love this team. Best shooting team I ever had. Great team. Great guys.
Yeah.
Bunch of hard workers.
This is Alabama's best offensive line in years. That's what that's the basketball team's version of that. I'll believe it when I see it, buddy.
I think they're adequate shooters.
Yes, I think they will shoot the ball well. They'll probably be one of the better shooting teams in the country. But when you say that, I'm expecting, all right, we're going to average 44% or something from three as a team, and I'm not sure we're going to get there.
Yeah, no, I'm not quite sure about that either. Very, very cool to see the blue boxes taped onto the floor on the offensive end when they're doing offense, and they're like stations. Basically, when you move here, you go to there and keep the space on the floor really wide open. Obviously, like we all know, Nate Oates' system is all about the space and hitting the 3-point shot. And
that's interesting though, because like that's something I've never really considered, because in football, you use those field markers as like, okay, this is how we're getting our spacing done. Guys on the numbers, guys lining up on hat, and like I never really have thought about it as much with basketball. But I'm sure they have guys like, hey, you've got to get to that spot on this court. You have to be in using the boxes and things. It just trains them to get more used to being in those spots.
Yeah, it looked like painter's tape on the floor, and there was maybe 4 or 5 boxes around the 3-point line. There was a box on the outside of each block, and that was basically it. There ain't no box in the mid range. Get out of there.
I mean, do we think LeBaron still? He's still got his green light to shoot mid range, right? Is there anybody else on this team that we think is going to have it this year?
I think Aiden will a little bit. I'm hesitant to say anybody else. We'll just have to see that when it comes. You sent me the comments about Noah.
Man, yeah.
They were like, they asked him about Noah Williamson, transfer in from Bucknell, right?
Yeah.
7-footer. And he talked about, I don't know how athletic he is.
What is it? This is the tweet from Chase Goodbread, but it's the quote from Nate Oates on Noah Williamson, quote, not a great athlete, but super skilled on offense. Passing might be his best attribute.
Yeah, so we're gonna.
Great. I just love that blunt answer.
Put him in the high block, and he's just going to
Jokic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You want to let me back you down for an easy layup or a dunk, or are you gonna guard these cutters or men on the wing?
I'm excited for this team.
We'll see.
It feels like I know I said this last season with bringing in the big man from Rutgers. Why am I blanking on the why can I not? Cliff Amore.
Thank
Good
you.
Lord.
Yes, because I saw his face too.
Yeah. I know I said this last season with the bringing in of Cliff Amore. Like, okay, you addressed kind of what this basketball team needed. You were lacking a big man. You went out and got a big man. But then the big man you got last season, I don't know if he was ever really fully healthy with that kind of strange back thing. He never really had the athleticism that you were looking for out of your big man. He wasn't able to get out into space and guard guys around the perimeter. It seems like they have actually really addressed the big time issue with this basketball team, and it's been athletic big men that can get out in space and cover, and then also dominate down low and get rebounds. You look like you've got 3 of those guys at least on this team.
Now, they were still playing drop coverage on defense, so that just is what it is.
I mean, if you're good at it, if you know what I mean. Like, if you can do it, it can work.
Yeah,
it's just you haven't been able to do it effectively the last couple years.
So I'm excited about it. The Final Four is in Indianapolis this year, so we'll see if we're going to Indy
City.
Apparently,
if Mark Sanchez.
Apparently,
or if you're delivery drivers, I guess.
Jeez Louise. Unbelievable. Don't be fighting people in the street. Don't be breaking into cars.
Don't be doing wind sprints in alleys, folks.
Yeah, not good. Not good. All right, let's keep it going. I am excited about the basketball team. We'll talk about it more definitely next week. We'll probably invade the Football Friday conversation. Oh, Football Friday with Alabama, Tennessee, the day after Alabama plays Florida State and that's going to create a difficult show just a little bit to squeeze all that in.
You might just have to stretch it out a little bit.
That's all right. We'll make it happen. We haven't even mentioned it, but next Saturday against Tennessee under the lights, it's going to be a raucous environment in Tuscaloosa next week.
I believe it will be.
Yeah.
I think it will be we thought the fans were mad about the Vandy game, but like, I think they're going to be a lot more upset than there to see Tennessee.
Bleep those mother bleepers. Hate them.
This will be one of those times where the fans are able to drown out the pumped in crowd noise on Dixieland Delight.
Yeah.
So cover your kids' ears if you're in there.
They were mean at a rivalry game. Guess what? You're going to see some not nice things if you're going to the game.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Getting back to this week, Alabama taking on Missouri right there, 11 a.m. On ABC, right? We're on ABC this week. So back on ABC has been good to Alabama, except for the first week, right? Georgia was ABC. Last week was ABC. I was watching it on in the stadium. 11 a.m. ABC. You've got the line has moved from 4.5 to 3.5. So people gambling on Missouri.
I have seen a strange uptick of Missouri propaganda on my feeds in the last 3, 4, 5 days.
I don't think Bo Pribula can throw the football.
I think he can. I don't
think he can read a field. I don't think he can read a field.
That I don't fully disagree with.
Like if you just said, "Hey man, grip it and rip it," yeah, you can do that.
I think he's got the arm talent.
Yeah, you can. Oh, it's a wide open go ball. It's a slant route. It's a hitched route. It's an in cut. You know, you can do that in 7-on-7s.
Yeah.
But when I watched the South Carolina game and when I watched the Kansas game, you know, we watched Ty in the first week and lots of people were, wow, look at him fight for yards. Look at him just avoid sacks and fight for yards. And it's like, yeah, but we really just want him to throw the ball. We really just want him to read the field, throw the ball, because Jeremy Ryan and Isaiah and Lazier are open somewhere. He's just not quite seeing it against Florida State.
Yeah, he was like a half second late the whole game.
Excuse me. And so, like, he did, like, again, I don't think Ty was the reason you lost the first game, but he didn't drive the offense and say, hey, we're moving the ball. And so I think Bo Pribula is kind of like that, at least in these games against Power 4 opponents, Kansas and South Carolina. It was drop back, hit my back step, look for a second, tuck and run. And he's a good runner.
Good runner.
Yeah, he is a good runner. He's a dangerous runner, I think.
He runs hard.
Yeah, runs hard, puts his head down, and just says, I'm going. So like he's giving max effort, but I'm not sure how well he's reading the field as far as, oh, they're in cover 3. I'm going to hit this play. Oh, they're in cover 2. I'm hit. Oh, it's cover 6. Oh, it's cover 4. Like you just
feels like he's got a little Jackson Dart about him. Maybe not quite as developed as a passer, because I still don't think Jackson Dart is a great passer, but he's better than I still can't say
Pribula.
That is a tough one. Bo Pribula. But yeah, like you're saying, just kind of a gritty guy who he can hit the open things, but I'm not really going to trust him to be the mover, you know, be the guy that makes things go.
Right. So I think that Kane Womack's going to sit in different zone defenses. All right. Yeah. Marionetting, and we're all looking at you, Pribula. You need to read the field. If you take off and run, everybody's collapsing down on you. Now you might use yourself 3, 4, 5 yards, but
you got to have somebody come there and make the tackle.
Oh gosh, yes.
I liked the tweet that and it was in reference to Ahmad Hardy that you tweeted it, but bring your feet when you tackle. And that stands for everyone. That stands for everyone on this Missouri team. I think they run the ball hard.
Yeah, I think Ahmad Hardy's a real running back. That's a real running back. And people are online debating, he got the Derrick Henry comparison because of the numbers from the 2015 season. And it's like, he's not Derrick Henry.
No. No one will be.
Right.
Folks.
But and people on the flip side are like, yeah, but Kansas and South Carolina have bad rushing defense. Look at their rushing number. I'm like, does Missouri's success have anything to do with, like, it's chicken and the egg situation? Like you're not at the end of the year, so the numbers aren't like fully complete. Like you win against a really good running back who, as a running team, they went 261 and 285 against Kansas and Missouri, and so it's like, are Kansas and South Carolina's run defense bad, or is it because they played against a good rushing offense? Like chicken or the egg here.
It's as with everything, and we say this a lot on this show, the answer is somewhere in the middle, somewhere between all he's done is play terrible teams and, oh, this guy's the next Derrick Henry. He's somewhere in the middle there. I tend to think it maybe leans toward the next Derrick Henry side, but he's not the next Derrick Henry.
No, I mean, South Carolina held Vanderbilt to 146 on the ground. So, like, I don't think they're horrid as far as run defense. No, I don't think they're Who? The
It's
Philadelphia
not the
Eagles.
85 Bears out there.
Right.
You know?
And you're dang right. Absolutely. And no one ever will be. But I mean, it's not Alabama 2015 here against Leonard Fournette. You're getting 12, you're getting what, 30 yards or whatever it is. Like, I don't think they're that, but I don't think they're necessarily bad. What South Carolina, I don't think South Carolina is a very good tackling team. They didn't tackle very well. They were, I'm going to go in there and hit stick you and just hope that knocks you off your feet.
Do we think Bama's a good tackling team?
I don't know.
I think the jury's still out on that one.
I think we find it. I mean, they
tackled well against Vanderbilt.
Yeah. But no hit sticks on Saturday, fellas.
Yeah.
No hit sticks on Saturday.
Wrap up and roll over.
That's right.
We used to have a football coach. He would, at the beginning of the season. He only lasted 1 year, mind you. But we spent our entire summer watching Seattle Seahawks videos that they had posted of the like wrap up and roll Gator roll tackle. It was awful. That was his whole philosophy was, well, we're a lot smaller than everybody, so we'll just roll them to death. It didn't work.
Yeah, but you got to run your feet.
Yes, you got to run your feet.
And that's not easy, but
they're all big boys out there.
No hit sticks.
Like, y'all all signed up for this. Y'all are all Division I athletes. You know what you're getting into. So, it's not like we're throwing middle schoolers out there and telling them to go tackle, Derrick Henry.
So just real quick before we get to Joey Van Zummeren, we did have a little bit of news on the injury report side last night. Hunter Decider writing it for BamaCentral.com. Go check out all of his work at BamaCentral.com. Let me see. Rugby balls. No. Why? There we go. Injury report. Alabama adding Caden Jones out to the injury report. We already knew Quay Russaw. We already knew Jamarian Latham and Jeremiah Beeman. Adding Caden Jones, designated as out. Hope that he is A-OK and just out for this week. Don't know the extent of what he's dealing with. And then dealing with an injury as well. Jalen Bakwe listed as doubtful. And Ryan Williams listed as probable. Folks, Ryan's going to play.
Well, why are we even listing people as probable? Like, come on. Do they even need to be there?
Well, I mean, maybe. If he turned an ankle in practice, if he stubbed a toe in practice, look, we got a coach that's abiding by the rules here. We're not playing, but we're not
doing the Lane Kiffin thing,
right? Exactly. And so Ryan might have stubbed his toe in practice. Might have hey
guys, just an FYI, he's probably going to play. He's like, yeah, we know,
right? Jalen Mbakwe listed as doubtful, playing a couple plays against Vanderbilt, and looks like he came off the field. I wonder if he's got a soft tissue injury.
I feel bad for the way that this season has developed for him.
Right.
I mean, he did it to himself, so I guess I don't feel bad, but it's just tough breaks.
Well, that was exactly what Hunter said last night when we were talking. He did it to himself, and I said, well, buddy, I don't know that he would have gotten the clear path to playing time in the defensive backfield is pretty convoluted as well.
He didn't really have a path anywhere,
right?
Unless he transferred.
I mean,
say that
we're talking. Cam Calhoun didn't play last week.
Yeah,
Deshaun Jones is hardly getting on the field. I mean, he's getting on the field, but not a lot. You've got Xavier, you've got Dijon Lee, you've got Damani, and it's like you're gonna have to, do some nefarious things to get on the field above them.
I think his best chance was finding a role as a return guy, but he just unfortunately, I guess, couldn't take that job for whatever reason.
So there's your updated injury report. We're going to get the Missouri side of the injury report because I do think there's a pretty interesting name on their injury report. Blake, three guys they already kind of knew. Logan Beckert, offensive lineman. Sam Horn has been out since the first snap of the season. And Caden Green, offensive lineman. That's the interesting one, listed as questionable. So we're going to find out what the deal is with Caden Green. We're going to find out how good or bad this competition really has been, and much, much more with our friend Joey Van Zummeren. But before we do that, we want to remind you that this show was brought to you by Derek Daniel State Farm Insurance. You guys can call Derek for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. Call him to find out how much money he can save you on your home insurance, your life insurance, your auto insurance. That's a big one. You got to have auto insurance to be on the road. All across the country, but it doesn't matter if you're living in West Alabama, anywhere in Alabama, Derek Daniel can take care of you and serve you with your insurance needs. So if you're in the state of Alabama, give Derek Daniel a call at 205-758-3391. He's got 3 great representatives upstairs right now. Red, Lane, and Bobby would love to take your phone call and talk about your insurance. It won't make it a hard phone call. They'll give you all the information that you're gonna need to save you some money. Local coverage that you can count on. It's Derek Daniel, State Farm Insurance. Let's keep the program going with our friend Joey Van Zummeren. You follow him on the Twitter machine at JoeyVZ_, covering all things Missouri Tigers for Missouri Tigers on SI, right there, part of the Walsh Riding Network. Joey, good morning. How we doing?
Good morning. I got my coffee. I'm looking forward to actually getting to this game instead of talking about it here.
Absolutely. Had a lot of fun with you yesterday on your little program. Where are we going to be able to find that? Because I not to self-serve, but if you want to hear more conversations about the Alabama-Missouri game, where you guys put out your work, you and Michael Stamps?
Yeah, absolutely. We got it. Our conversation with you posted to our YouTube channel yesterday, and then we'll have another podcast out today, fully previewing this game.
Awesome. Excellent. So check out the Missouri Tigers on SI YouTube channel. Those guys just recently got over a big old milestone on the YouTube channel. So great. Y'all are doing great stuff on that YouTube channel. Really, probably better than what we're doing on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. And so you guys want to check it out. Missouri Tigers on SI on the YouTube side. You can find all kinds of press conferences, all kinds of shorts, all kinds of behind the scenes coverage of Missouri Tigers athletics. Joey, what in the world should we start with right here? We should start with...
I think we need to start with the coach's attire.
Yes, yesterday on the SEC call, because we teased it earlier in the show and we haven't really got to that. I think Mason and I are in agreement that we are Coach Drinkwitz lovers, and yesterday was exactly the reason why. Hey, Chuck, can I stay on the call and ask Kalen DeBoer a question? Not only, Coach Drinkwitz, did you give us the most interesting moment on a teleconference this year, but you edged out some questions that maybe were maybe tough to listen to by taking a little time. And what was your reaction to Coach Drinkwitz hanging around, not hanging around, 5 more minutes? So it wasn't like you wasted a lot of his day. Right. 5 more minutes, and asking Coach DeBoer, are you going to wear the black hoodie of death on the sideline?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was very on brand, and I was on the edge of my seat really when Eli asked Chuck Dunlap, who moderates those teleconferences. I mean, it was almost a breaking of the fourth wall because it's those teleconferences follow a usual script. I mean, they take their 10 minutes and then they leave. None of them always seem too happy to be there, and then they go. So it was definitely great to see Eli have some fun with that, and Kalen to play along too.
Does Drink have his own version of the black hoodie of death? I heard some ramblings of maybe a visor.
Right. I mean, that's a good question. I should look into his record when wearing a visor. Although I don't know if I've ever seen him wear anything but a visor to a game. So like the only other time would be when it's really cold out and he has a beanie on. So maybe that's something to look into.
So his visor, if he's always wearing the visor, 43-24, really that's good record. Good.
Yeah.
Visor of victory.
There you go.
Victory
Let's go.
Visor.
Joey, let's talk about Faroe Field Memorial Stadium. I want to ask a question that I had yesterday that it popped up as I've been watching Missouri this week. The attendance or the Wikipedia says 62,000 is the capacity at Memorial Stadium. Has that capacity reduced with the construction on the end, or will the construction on the end zone add to that 62,000? What's the state of the capacity in Faroe Field?
So I can't remember the official number, but I know for this season where they have, the whole seating behind the north end zone is gone. So I think it's down 2,000 or so this year. I think it's around 60,000 or just below it. And then once the construction is done, they don't have the official number for that yet, but I think it's going to be an additional 1,000 to that 62,000 that you mentioned. So like 63, 64,000. It was interesting hearing athletics director Laird Veach talk about it in the summer. He had a press conference in mid-August on the middle of the field when it was 110 degrees. So that was pretty brutal. But he was the goal of of the project was not necessarily to add a bunch of seats. It was to, I mean, if in college football these days, you got to serve your the people with the biggest pockets. Not to say they don't care about the rest of their fans, but there's a lot of suites, there's a lot of premium seating that they're added, but it's not necessarily a whole bunch of general seats.
Okay, so the attendance on Saturday is not going to be much different from the 62. It might be 60, it might be 61. But that
Right.
I just saw a big vastness down in that end zone. I'm like, well, I guess that's going to just be, where Alabama needs to drive their offense out the entire day.
Sure. I mean, that's a good point. The one thing about it, though, that I think you'll really see next season once the construction is complete is that, but you can already hear it this year, is because they have that area enclosed now, it's a lot louder. It's echoing off, where as before with the stadium, they had that hill there for general admission standing, and that it wasn't guarding it off too well. And there was a lot of open space, like just out to the road. So it's already making an impact with that.
It's gonna be a lot louder on Saturday as the constructions are bang, bang, bang. They're gonna. Eli's got the crew out there with the jackhammers, right there. And only when Alabama has the ball can you guys work.
That'd be a good idea. They've done it. They've worked every hour up until the gates open, but maybe for this game they pull out all the stops.
All right, I want to take us into the actual game here, and a lot of people are talking about Ahmad Hardy, and we will get to Ahmad Hardy. I think he's the best running back in the SEC. I think a lot of people think he's the best running back in the SEC. But I want to start with Bo Pribula. He's been a great quarterback this year. Has been able to run the ball really well. Has been able to throw the ball not quite as well, but has had some success. But he's had a little bit of a turnover issue this year.
He smoked Central Arkansas, man. Come on now.
A little bit of a turnover issue for Bo Pribula. Do you foresee Alabama being able to, Alabama's got 4 interceptions this year. They've been able to force a few fumbles as well. I think they're +8 in the turnover department. Do you think that's going to maybe be an issue on Saturday if Alabama's able to, put some looks out there that maybe confuse Pribula, force him into some uncomfortable situations with his arm?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's been one of the biggest issues for Bo. Like you mentioned, he's had an interception in each of the last 3 games. It's obviously one of the things that out of the bye week he was looking to improve on. But even in those games before he threw an interception, even in games like against Central Arkansas or against Kansas, there was a lot of throws where I'm like, he got away with a few early on in the season before he started having turnovers. And the way I phrased it at the time was he just needs to do a better job of learning, like, when it's worth it to make a risky throw, because there is some, and Missouri has a few wide receivers who can really make great catches in traffic. And so he definitely got saved a few times by that. And because of that, I think it is worth it to take a few more of those chances. But it's been the decision making, but it's also been what Eli Drinkwitz has highlighted quite a bit with Pribula, of stepping up too far in the pocket and getting antsy at the first sign of pressure. And I think what plays into that is Missouri's offensive line and pass protection hasn't been too consistent, especially early on in the season. And so I think that kind of trains you to be a little nervous in the pocket. You're looking down when you should be looking at the play progressing. And so the interception that Bo had against UMass 2 weeks ago, where it looks like a awful throw if you don't see that Bo's hand gets tipped by a defensive lineman, and that really sails the ball straight downward. I still question the decision because I don't think the guy who was going to throw it to was open. But anyways, that's neither here or there. But the thing on that play too was he steps up too far in the pocket when he doesn't need to. So it comes down to better decision making, knowing when to make risks, but then also being calmer isn't the right word, but being smart in the pocket.
How much do you think that Eli trusts Bo Pribula to throw the football not into traffic, but to read a defense and hey, it's 2nd and 10, or it's a passing situation. I'm going to call a concept, and Bo's going to be able to execute it.
I think Eli and this coaching staff does trust Bo. It's been interesting, especially in that game against UMass, where they haven't opened up the passing playbook all that much. They really haven't tried to get the deep passing game going since that game against Central Arkansas in week 1. I think part of that is taking what the defense gives you. I think with defense, when you see the success Ahmad Hardy and even Jamal Roberts has in the backfield, you're probably going to play, a little, a little more scared of that, and you want to have your defense backs ready to tackle. So I think that's part of it. And ultimately, we haven't seen them have to trust Bo Prabila all that much, but also in those moments, the few moments where Missouri has been down and needed, a big play or needed a good 2-minute drill, Bo has definitely been able to execute in those key moments. So I do think they have a reason to trust him, even though he's a first-time starter.
All right, so let's talk about this offensive line that you just sort of teased us just a little bit. One, what's the status of Caden Green? Because I think he's a very important player this week, listed as questionable last night on the injury report. And two, every time that I tweet about Ahmad Hardy, I get responses. Well, that offensive line's missing assignments. That offensive line can't block for him, and he's just hero play. That offensive line, what do you take? Like, run game's obviously working, but the Alabama faithful seem to think that this offensive line is really maybe not as strong as the rest of the offense.
Well, Eli Drinkwitz would agree with him, at least to a certain extent. At least early in the season, Drinkwitz had pointed out, I think specifically in that Kansas game, where there was a few times where the offensive line made Ahmad be, have to make his own blocks, have to stiff arm more people than he needed to, which maybe added to his missed tackles for stat. And so, in run protection, and obviously, like with the outside zone scheme Missouri runs, pulling their offensive lineman, that's great in theory, but it does take skill along the offensive line to be able to do that. They've had some inconsistencies, mainly in pass protection. In the run, I think they've gotten better as the season has progressed. But I definitely do think, there's a few times each game, even in the run game, where they let a guy free, and Ahmad really has to make his own way. As far as Caden Green, he is, he's questionable to start the week. That's what Drinkwitz told us on Tuesday. Drinkwitz said it's going to be a situation where they don't know really anything until Thursday, so today or Friday. I'm not sure. I don't believe he practiced last week, but no official word on that. But then this week he took reps with the rehab group on Monday. So it seems like he's progressing in the right direction. This is the earliest of his time frame since he first got injured. Drinkwitz told us the earliest he could return would be this Alabama game, but the time frame extended another game or two past this. So we don't know exactly what the injury is. We know that he suffered it in practice leading up to South Carolina, and then they thought initially he suffered it in practice on Wednesday. They thought it wasn't too serious. He had an MRI on Thursday, and they're like, oh, okay, like maybe we should check this out. So he's been out since then. If he can't go, it's going to be Javen Richardson, who's former JUCO transfer. And you mentioned the offensive line and the questions along it. Javen Richardson and Caden Green are two great players to bring up in that case, because the only reason Caden Green is playing at left tackle is because Missouri went through fall camp. They got to the final week and a half of fall camp and said, all right, we need to completely switch everything up along our offensive line. Javen Richardson was competing for that starting left tackle job with Johnny Williams IV, a West Virginia transfer. And they, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where they wanted to cover up, where they thought they were the weakest, because they moved Kidden over to left tackle, and then play a little bit of musical chairs with their guards who are a little more versatile. So Javen, I thought, has done okay in some moments. I thought he did better against South Carolina than he did against UMass, and Drinkwitz kind of have the same evaluation. I would just be really worried with Javen as far as going up against speed rushers, because there was a few times going up against South Carolina and Brian Thomas specifically, where Javen is just so, I don't want to say slow, but the edge rusher was really able to take a wide edge on him, and Javen just could not back up. So, and then, Drinkwitz said he was a little too inconsistent against UMass. So definitely something to watch if Caden cannot go.
I've got a two-part question here. First, we'll we'll stick with the offensive line. You mentioned it right there. The Missouri has a lot of transfers in this offensive line unit. They've brought in a handful of guys. Do you think that maybe the early season issues that you've maybe seen, the lack of consistency in the pass game, the inability to maybe run block it sometimes, is that maybe a result of just guys not quite gelling together yet, not everything meshing together? It's still a little early in the season here. I think Alabama even maybe had some of those similar problems early in the year with their own offensive line. And then the second part of my question, let's go to Ahmad Hardy. Is this going to be the game where he maybe solidifies a trip to New York this year? I've seen the Heisman talks very slightly ramping up on my social media feeds, but he hasn't quite made his debut on the odds pages yet.
Yeah, I mean, the second one first, I definitely think so. And this is obviously a great opportunity as ever. And obviously, like you mentioned, Joe, of people coming at you on Twitter of, oh, they haven't played anybody. Why should we think Ahmad Hardy is legit? I think Ahmad Hardy is legit. He's done it against 2 Power 4 defenses at the same level. He's done it against, FCS.
They're bouncing off of him. They're just bouncing.
Yes. It's incredible. So I think absolutely. I think this is a great, as great as a stage that he'll have all year, really. I mean, Missouri still has Texas A&M and Oklahoma on the schedule, but a chance to put Missouri in that college football playoff conversation early in the season. And, it's not like Alabama is some feisty run defense, but at the very least to do it against the, one of the biggest brands in college football, a top 10 team would be huge. So
on national TV, on ABC.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I think really Ahmad's story, I think people would really, as Ahmad if he continues to have the season he has so far, people really kind of fall in love with Ahmad Hardy's story to go from, and I think it's one of the great things of the transfer portal, to go from ULM, he does great there, has a great freshman season there, and then transfers to the SEC and does the exact same thing. So I agree with that, Mason. With offensive line, I definitely agree with you there as well, as far as gelling together. They kept on telling us in the first few weeks of the season where they had a lot more issues in pass protection. But overall, as a whole, too, of that communication was the issue between the offensive line. And so it's the transfers. They have 2 transfers along the offensive line. And compared to last year, they only have 1 starter who's in the same place, and that's Connor Tolson at center. And Connor Tolson is coming off a season-ending knee injury from last year. I think Connor's been good, and he's been, he's the lead communicator on that offensive line. I think if you're going to return any starter along your offensive line, you would want to be at either center or left tackle. So then they move Caden to left tackle. They have a transfer, Dominic Giudice, at left guard. He's coming over from Michigan, and he has experience. He's in his 4th or 5th year, but it's not like he started a whole bunch at Michigan, Giudice. At right guard, they have Curtis Piegler, and this is what I was talking about as far as kind of the musical chairs they played in fall camp. Curtis Piegler, was not in the starting lineup at all in fall camp into the final week and a half of the season, and he's been, hit or miss. And then at right tackle, Keegan Trost, this is 7th year of college football. He's experienced, and I think he's held up really solidly, but you can definitely see that kind of still needing to gel together, and it's, the team agrees and has highlighted it too.
You know that sound, Mason, when you hit an animal, squirrel, or you hit whatever, possum in the road, and and your car just keeps going. That's what I hear every time I see Ahmad Hardy run, and they're just bouncing right off of him. But it's not just Ahmad Hardy. When Ahmad Hardy gets off the field, Joey Van Zummeren, tell us about how dangerous Jamal Roberts is as well.
I think Jamal has been one of the most fun and interesting parts about this team, because last year Missouri had a running back by committee between 2 guys, mainly of Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll, kind of 2 one-year rentals they got out of the transfer portal. And then Jamal Roberts throughout the season, that was his redshirt freshman year last year. He had kind of worked his way into the lineup slowly but surely. And it was mainly through pass protection, and then as a 3rd down back as well. And then so he does that last year, but then going into this year, it's like, all right, they got Ahmad. He'll probably be a workhorse. And Ahmad has been. I mean, he's taken over 20 carries in most games, I believe. But then Jamal, has been able to switch in. It's not like Jamal is just taking garbage time carries. Like, he's been switched in frequently as well throughout all games. And I think, Jamal compared his running style, I think Ahmad did too, to each other. They've said that they have similar running styles, and at first it's like, I don't know if I see that. But then you watch it a little more, it's like Jamal definitely, he's not as violent as Ahmad, but he can definitely break tackles as well. He's a little more elusive than Ahmad, I would say. A great option as a receiver too. And so they definitely play off of each other. And I think the most impressive thing about the two of those, I mean, one, it helps when you can have another guy to take some carries off your back, but also like just the play-to-play stamina those guys have. I mean, it's third or fourth quarter, they're both going on 15, 20 carries, and neither of them are showing any signs of slowing them down. And when you can just gash a defense like that, that can be really effective.
Well, you said it right there, defense. So I'll spin us to the other side of the ball. Missouri's defense, just as you see it in this matchup, what are the strengths of Missouri's defense? What are the biggest weaknesses? What do you see as maybe a problem point against this Alabama offense, or what do you think they maybe will be able to do successfully against this Alabama offense?
If I was Eli Drinkwitz, I'd be losing sleep about how my secondary might perform against this Alabama passing offense. I mean, the allowing explosive passing plays was an issue for the secondary last year, but then seeing how poor it's been against South Carolina and Kansas has been a real concern. And I think, and this is separate from all the talent Alabama has in their receiving core. I mean, Missouri, it's been too many communication issues, too many times where they just get burnt. And so obviously the Alabama receiving core is going to make that even worse. They've talked about it. It's been, something they've talked about since that Kansas game. I don't know if I've ever seen Eli Drinkwitz be more honest on an issue than he has been with the past secondary issues. The run defense is, at least for now, the number one in the country. They haven't played, great teams, and that's skewing their statistics. But I definitely do think there is some legitimate factors to that. I think Josiah Trotter, a West Virginia transfer, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, has played a huge part in that. I mean, he's 240 pounds.
Does he want to transfer to Alabama next year? Can we have him? Keep going.
I mean, just great. You were talking to us yesterday, Joe, about as far as the vision that the Alabama linebackers kind of lack. He definitely has that. He knows what gaps to fill, and he's just a really physical hitter. I think Josiah has been the most important piece of arguably the whole defense as a whole, but especially with what Missouri has been able to do to stop the run.
Yeah, I really want to keep going on the defensive side of the football with Missouri. People have just hammered. Well, they ain't played nobody. Well, Kansas's offense is pretty creative with the run game and the run scheme. I do think that I think South Carolina is. After watching them against Vanderbilt and Missouri, I don't know how much I respect South Carolina. I think they've got some nice pieces. Obviously, Lenoris and Nick Harbor kind of taking the lion's share of kind of the headlines there. I think they got some nice pieces, but I don't think they play with any consistency. What was it? 11, 12, 13 penalties against Missouri. And so I want to keep going with the defense. Is the run defense gettable, or have they just been, what's the Gandalf? You can't come here. No, you shall not pass. Right. Because I think Jeremiah Trotter is amazing. You got two pretty nice edge pieces. Is the secondary just, hey, we're going to fill the run game, and if we get burnt, we get burnt? What do you think has gone into making the run defense so successful so far?
Yeah, you confuse Josiah Trotter for his father, Jeremiah, who played for the Eagles. But you're definitely not the first to do that. So Josiah has been a big part of it. The defensive line, I think, is a really good group as well, too, a really deep group. I think, as far as how the secondary plays into it, I think it is. I can't say, though, that it's, an overcommitment to the run game that's causing, just a sacrifice, though, because, at least from what Drinkwitz and the players have told us, it truly has come down to just poor communication and what they call greedy eyes. So yeah, as far as the run defense, I think South Carolina, I don't know the exact numbers on this, but I think, at least from what I saw, they were trying to run it inside quite a bit, and not too much outside of the tackles. And Lenora Sellers really wasn't trying to get out of the pocket all that much. And when he was, they had Nick Rodriguez, who's a really good will linebacker, spying him. I wonder if they'll try to do the same against Ty Simpson, not necessarily watching him to run and scramble with his legs, but more so just when he tries to make those off-schedule throws, because Rodriguez did a really good job at trying to stop Lenora Sellers on doing exactly that. So I think the whole linebacker group is really strong. They also got Cleo Jacobs, who played Will last year and now is at Mike, but is also a really athletic sideline-to-sideline type guy, really quick. So I think it's really all of that front seven has done a really good job there.
How do you think the relationship between Kane Womack and Corey Batoon plays into this game? Because Batoon, for those who aren't familiar, was the secondary defensive coordinator for Kane Womack at South Alabama. Now both programs are running basically the same structurally defense, obviously some wrinkles on each side, but they know each other very well. So Ty Simpson's been going up against the Corey Batoon defense in practice. Well, Bo Pribula's been going up against the Kane Womack defense in practice. How do you think that those two guys, the relationship plays into this game?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not only that, then it's also Kirby Moore, Missouri's offense coordinator, worked on the same staff as both at Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb back at Fresno State. And so I think as far as the schematic similarities, I think you can definitely see it on defense, probably more so. I think on offense, Kirby has kind of meshed well with Drinkwitz, and they're kind of their own thing. But defense, like you mentioned, I think, Drinkwitz had talked about it earlier this week of they're not, spending too much time trying to get into the weeds of what are, obviously you try to predict what they're going to do with the scheme, but they're not trying to use Corey Batoon as a sleeper cell spy basically to get inside info on what Kane Womack's defense is going to look like. And I think too, I mean, with Batoon, yeah, he was on Womack's staff. They worked for 3 years together, which is certainly a significant amount of time. But I do think, and I mean, I think both teams are kind of aware of it and using what they can get out of it. But at least for Missouri, they're not, again, spending too much time trying to nail down what Womack's going to look like.
We're here with Joey Van Zummeren of the Missouri on SI website. You can follow him on Twitter at JoeyVZ_. Joey, the last thing that I will leave you with here, maybe in one sentence or less if you want to. Missouri wins this football game if blank.
Just the run game going. The same identity that they've played with all year. I mean, they've dominated the time of possession as what Drinkwitz has called a byproduct of having that run game going. I just think if this becomes a shootout, Missouri, I don't think Missouri can keep up. So they got to limit the possessions of the Alabama offense, and you do that by, having the run game being really effective and having those long drives, and also limiting those turnovers.
He's Joey Van Zummeren. He helps us out by covering Missouri Tigers on SI. You can follow all his coverage at JoeyVZ_. Joey, don't think I didn't see the shirt you snuck onto this show.
I was thinking of that.
Go ahead.
It was somewhat intentional.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I appreciate it very much. Joey covers Missouri. He dabbles in some NFL coverage as well with the Green Bay Packers and several other different spots on the On SI network. So we appreciate his time. Joey, go have a great day. We're going to see you up on Saturday. We'll send Katie Wyndham, we'll send Hunter DeCiver, and Will Miller to come say hello.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. That's Joey Van Zummeren joining us from Missouri Tigers on SI. Love that guy, and he does just absolutely outstanding work. I cannot.
I always feel so much smarter when we have either of the two Joeys on.
Yes. Do I just need? I mean, no, I don't. I was going to say change my name to Joey, but I don't think that I fall into their categories. I think that I don't think I'm as serious as those two guys are. But we had a lot of fun today, and we appreciate everybody for joining us on the comments section. Yeah, please go ahead.
I got one more, and we didn't really get to it yesterday. I sent it to you right as I left the studio yesterday because I forgot to mention
yes, please.
This horrid article from The Athletic. is Arch Manning college football's first flop? It's so bad on so many levels because for just 1A here, Arch Manning's not a flop. Arch Manning is not a flop yet. He's played 6 games, 5 games. How many? 5 games in the season they are. I think they had a bye. Come on, folks. What are we doing here?
Without an offensive line.
It's insane. And then also to insinuate that if he is a flop, he's the first one in the history of college football. Folks, what are we talking about?
Ever heard of Blake Barnett?
Come on, people. We could do a whole show just on Alabama guys that flopped. This is ridiculous. Leave the damn kid alone, folks. Good Lord, let him figure it out. I was firmly in the camp. I was I still don't think he's that great. I still think we've been maybe sold a little bit, higher expectations of him than maybe we should have had. But I'm rooting for him a lot more now just because of the way people have treated him. It's like y'all have written the man off, and he's 5 games into his career. It's crazy.
That's my biggest pet peeve with football.
You still see
fans.
It's not like he's just going out there, and you still see traits. He's making a couple nice throws a game. He's doing a few nice. Yes, is it overall top to bottom a good quarterback performance? Probably not. But you said it right there. He's got no offensive line. It doesn't look like those receivers are as good as we maybe thought they were. It's just like, yes, and he has no help.
They just brought in Wisner. Wisner just got back from injury, so they're starting running back. Just got back into the lineup.
Yeah, this was just crazy. And everybody got their jabs in on Twitter. I'm sure many of you listening to the show probably saw it on your own Twitter feed. People ribbing this article. I don't know who the person is that wrote it. I'm not even going to give them the click to find out who did write it. But just ridiculous.
Don't worry. Tomorrow on Football Friday, we're taking Texas for Red River rivalry. Hook 'em.
I'm taking preview. I will be picking Oklahoma.
The eyes of Texas are
This is John Mateers. This is John Mateers.
Oh gosh,
solidify my Heisman campaign game.
Right. John Mateer comes in and wins and says, "Ty Simpson, what?"
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a lot of fun on Saturday. Lots of great. The Saturday slate is loaded. I was sending the Football Friday picks, and I was like, "Dang, another one." I'm like, I have to do I cut any of these games to pick? But dang, it is a loaded slate on Saturday. We are going to get out of here for the day. We appreciate Joey Van Zummeren for joining us. We appreciate Mason Woods for hanging out with us. Follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. Joey Van Zummeren at JoeyVZ_. I need to just drop the 6 and make it an underscore. At Joe Gaither 6. We appreciate Derek Daniel for sponsoring the program. Call Derek for all your insurance needs. 205-758-3391. We're going to have a great Football Friday right here on the Joe Gaither Show next, right here on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com.